Hurry in.
Spectrum is heating up the nation with Spectrum One.
Spectrum is offering seamless connection.
This is an exciting day, Alexi.
8 long years,
Yes,
Kate.
sir.
And this is wonderful. You saw Weston McKennie there. He's got a red, white, and blue streak in his hair. Come celebrate this team. Come celebrate this country. Very few things unite us. Tonight, we get united behind this young, awesome, talented team.
We've had enough time for talk. We're going to see who's going to have that Marshawn Lynch mentality and be about that action.
Alexi's always here to pour cold water on our joy. Would you like to pour some cold water on his, or?
Well, England have done it today, scored 6, so I'm expecting the US to look at what England have done and go out and put on a big performance. But no, I really can't wait to see them play. I'm really looking forward to the midfield 3 of Adams, McKennie and Messiah. I think they're going to boss it today. Go get it, USA. I'm here for you, rooting for you. Behind England.
Nicely added. Well, England are the US's second opponent. Remember, today the 3 Lions made just an incredible start to their campaign. Bukayo Saka able to find the back of the net twice in a 6-2 demolition. Our Jeff Shreves caught up with the England boss, Gareth Southgate, after the game.
Coaches are always seeking perfection, but Gareth Southgate, could that have gone much better for you?
Well, it's 6-0, yes. Because I really liked so much of what we did, and we looked a real threat. But the end of the game, because of the amount of time added on, because of the break-up in the flow of it, to concede as we did is really annoying. And we're going to have to completely shift the mindset. You know, that game petered out. We're going to have the game of all games against the States, and they're going to be out the traps, pressing us hard. So we're going to have to reset after this. But you know, of course, I'm delighted to win the game in the manner that we did as well.
Well, here is your first half moment, sponsored by Verizon. Dutch fans, of course, amongst the most colourful in international football. They made plenty of noise during a scoreless first half against Senegal. The second 45 minutes of action is coming right up for you. Don't move.
Oh, my God. Is he dead?
No, he's taking a break.
What's a mafia capo doing in Tulsa?
I'm going to take 20% to protect you from the gangs. You got to know your risk.
There was no risk until you came along.
Any flammable liquids or firearms?
In the box? Nah.
How's Tulsa treating you?
It's like the Paris of the Southwest.
Tulsa King. New series, now streaming exclusively on Paramount+.
I get skeptical when things seem too good to be true. You could say I'm a realist. Take Rakuten. Now, how do they give shoppers cash back on top of deals at their favorite stores?
All that savings sounds like holiday magic.
No, just good sense. Fantastic. Wonderful, Charlie. Love the ribbons. Far be it from me to tell you what to believe in, but I believe in Rakuten.
The world doesn't come together like this very often. But when it does, the results can be extraordinary. Qatar is committed to that idea and growing its potential as a partner, investor, and innovator with possibilities that are unlimited and rewards that are priceless. Let the world play and become part of our story.
Bah, humbug.
Happy holidays, Mr. Scrooge.
Trying to stream the match, but my signal's gone afoul.
You need a better network. 'Tis the season to switch to Verizon.
Tis?
Tis. You get a free 5G phone when you do.
Free phone?
Plus, Verizon gives you another great gift. A tablet, a smartwatch, earbuds.
Well, the more gifts, the merrier. For me.
Oh, Scrooge.
Only Verizon gives you a free 5G phone and another gift, like a tablet, smartwatch, and earbuds, all on us.
Wow.
Switch now to the network America relies on. Verizon.
Dear Santa, I know I asked for a lot last year, but this year is different. All I want is the U.S. to win the World Cup. This is the team that's going to make a run. All we have to do is believe. That's like your whole thing. You seen this?
There's more.
I believe.
Derek Ray and Ali Wagner welcoming you back to Al Tumama, just to the south of the main part of Doha. And Senegal acquitting themselves rather well in the first half. Good defensive posture, keeping the Dutch at bay. A threat on the counter-attack. It has been pretty even, you would say, for large swathes of the game. Ali, what have you made of it so far? What are you looking forward to seeing in the second half?
Yeah, I think that's spot on in terms of the balance of the match, but I do think Netherlands have created some more of the dangerous situations, and I think they've got to turn to Cody Gakpo and get him on the ball more. He's looked the most dangerous for the Dutch, and on the flip side, Ismail Sarr has been really bright. So if they continue with their wide play, their danger, and their counter ability, it could continue to spell trouble.
So Senegal, the African champions, to get the second half underway. Boulaye Dia was hovering over the ball. He's just made his way out to the left. He's going to let Cheikhou Kouyaté do the honours. And any second now, we should be in business. Was that hair-raising moment for the Netherlands in the first half when Frenkie de Jong tried to pass the ball out of defence. He was inside his own penalty area. Virgil van Dijk wasn't paying attention, but no damage done. And for those who thought this was going to be a tough nut for the Netherlands to crack, well, that's exactly the way it's been. Denzel Dumfries, given that name Denzel because his parents, surprise, surprise, were fans of a famous Hollywood actor-director, Denzel Washington.
I didn't want to guess that,
Yeah.
but...
You might have surmised it.
Yes.
Yeah. He has made great strides in the last couple of years, full of energy on that right-hand side. Still one there for Vincent Janssen. You can see why Kouyaté has been added to the equation. Not because of that, Ali, but he is an imposing presence.
No, but that is certainly one of the reasons. The physicality and his ability in the air, because one of the other potential starting center mids was going to be Papamata Sarr, and he's much smaller presence, and so you lack that physical ability if he's inserted in the starting 11. And he's been bright as well, and when he's connecting in that final third.
Talking to a couple of Senegalese journalists yesterday, they feel that there is a deficiency, if you like, on the technical front in midfield. They all have to work really hard. They do cover up for each other in that area. Have a bit of flair in attack, especially on the flanks with Sarr on one side and Diatta on the other.
Spot on, and that's how they go about it, right? Is you get some of the 1v1 ability in those wide channels. but it's about the link-up play and the connection from that industrious midfield. When they come over to be the +1, they add that fullback in.
Netherlands trying to get Berghuis on the ball again. Dumfries it was who stabbed that one in. Diallo, a makeshift left back, if you like. He's not a complete stranger to that position. Think of him more as a central defender, but well, now Frenkie de Jong's going to have to gallop back. Ball given away there. And Ake did his job. And he tends to do that.
He did. I mean, he held up any surging movement from Dia, and then you got the recovery of Daley Blind and de Jong on it, trying to make amends.
Frenkie de Jong in the challenge up against Kouyaté. This was Dia and this was Ake.
And that's it, right? You see just good positioning by Ake, just moving his feet, waiting for the double down pressure from behind, force the air, and then win the ball. That's good defending in tandem.
Free kick in the end given to the Oranje. And here is Virgil van Dijk. The pass was by Denzel Dumfries. Couldn't quite make the connection there. Through to Edouard Mendy. The move to Chelsea 2020 from Rennes.
Then here the press, everyone will start to pick up man-to-man. That's one way to beat it.
Certainly is. Header there by Kouyaté. Van Dijk just organising everyone around him. Talking earlier about Noppert in goal. Here's Noppert, first international appearance. Nobody really knows why Mark Flecken of Freiburg in the Bundesliga didn't get picked. Louis van Gaal had spoken about him as his type of goalkeeper. Seems set to be not worst second choice, but probably first choice, but not in the squad at all. Might well still be a work in progress, the goalkeeping situation for the Netherlands. We shall see as the tournament goes forward.
And Derek, I think that's where Senegal gets in trouble, is they're trying to do the 3v3 for too long in one area. They're at their best when if they can pull it off, great, and they get in behind. Otherwise, just change the point, go out the other side. We've seen Netherlands just be able to pick it off and look to counter a couple of times now.
Gakpo. Well, he has dynamism in his makeup, and this is much more promising from a Dutch point of view. Bounces around there, pinballing around. And behind it goes for the corner. The surge there by Denzel Dumfries.
But how about the surge by Cody Gakpo? This is the challenge that ensues on Dumfries that earns the Dutch the corner. Diallo really strong in the challenge, and the deflection might have come off of Dumfries, but they get the call regardless.
So once again, Van Dijk striding into the opposition penalty area. Ake is by his side. Cody Gakpo and Mendy plucks it out of the sky. That's how to do it.
Hanging up in the air too long, gives Mendy time to get off his line and get through traffic, grab that one with his length.
He's generally a very assertive goalkeeper. Be coming off his line in that fashion to grab it.
And also in the flow of play. Right now, just sitting at the top of the circle in his 18-yard box, sweeper keeper. See that with Chelsea.
Sabani's pass cut out there by Van Dijk. There's Berghuis and De Ligt. Never really wants to play on the left-hand side of the defence, De Ligt. He has done that in his career, but happier on the right. I mentioned earlier now with Bayern in the Bundesliga, who are back on top after a spell of being amongst the chasing pack.
Been a real tough challenge from Koulibaly on the backside of Bergwijn. It was good link-up play too from the Dutch. This little 1-2 combo, up back through was the plan. But smart play by Koulibaly and just to put that off and allow his team to get back.
Here's De Ligt. Van Dijk. Ake. Vicious sort of ball in the general direction of Dumfries. There's De Ligt. Let's give it to Denzel Dumfries. Trying to shield it. He had Diallo for company. A shrill whistle of Brazilian referee Wilton Sampaio. They get on with it here, the Netherlands. Gakpo. He tried to chisel another corner out of that. He succeeds.
And again, it's Gakpo just causing problems. Glides by defenders with ease. Then Diallo has to make the recovery challenge. And in one of these, you've got to find Van Dijk. I mean, I know he rose up and wasn't able to convert on the one in the first half, but he's got the size advantage over his marker.
Cody Gakpo. And there is Virgil van Dijk. Well, it worked that time in terms of the connection that was made.
And Van Gaal looks concerned because you don't see Van Dijk miss two good looks like this. The control over his body is just off. His timing of the redirection, trying to just swivel enough to get that on frame and down below the bar to challenge Mendy. Not on, not there yet.
I used to watch Virgil van Dijk a lot when I worked in Scotland when he was playing for Celtic, and believe it or not, there were a couple of occasions when I was on a plane to Glasgow with scouts from English clubs.
Southampton, one of them?
Well, actually not Southampton.
Okay.
He did go to Southampton.
Yeah, exactly.
Who told me quite candidly they didn't think he had what it took to make it in the Premier League.
I hope they were fired. You should have recorded that conversation and sent it to their employers.
I'm not going to name any names for obvious reasons, but
see, I love that. That is an incredible story of you just don't know. And the people that think they know don't always know. Michael Jordan in basketball, right?
Absolutely. For those of us who watched him with Celtic, I think felt he was good enough. That's it. Comes out on the side of Senegal here. And it's Sabali. And his shot taking a deflection. He wanted to win the corner. That's what the hope was. It's gone out right beside the corner flag off Ake.
And Sabali has tried his luck twice now. Certainly wanted to have a go from distance.
So throw in here rather than the corner. Sabali tasked with taking it. Originally came through the youth ranks at PSG. Hails from the western suburbs of Paris. So many in the squad. Senegal French born. Kouyaté up against Ake.
And Koulibaly, another one of those players that grew up in France, but he said when he came home, all they spoke was Senegalese, all they ate was Senegalese food. And so many of these players that opt to have different nations they can play for, wait to see who picks them, who takes them. And for him, it was always going to be Senegal.
It's the one that got away as far as Mendy is concerned. Saw there Aliou Cissé just adjusting one or two things, but he's got to be broadly happy about the Senegalese shape. Defensively and in an attacking sense, or counter-attacking sense anyway. Minutes into the second half. Fruitless toil so far for the Netherlands. Nobody said this was going to be easy for them. Dumfries on that right-hand side. Gakpo. Cissé for company. Johnson waiting inside the box. Couldn't quite latch onto it. Jesus only looked to launch the counter-attack, Senegal, but the free kick has been given, and the card is coming out here, and it's yellow for Matthijs de Ligt. He's been discomfited on quite a few occasions this evening.
Yeah, you're spot on, and he's been aggressive in the challenge. Had some moments in possession he'd like to forget. But here's the heavy step right up the backside again of Ismaila Sarr. And that is a battle that has been fun to watch unfold over the night. Here's a good look of Janssen getting that near post run. Janssen, excuse me. And Koulibaly is there. Again, just shoving any threat to that near post out of sight so Mendy doesn't have to make a play on it. Good positioning from him.
Don't forget, it's the USA against Wales coming up. Opening match for both countries. And live on Fox, coverage starting at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. It's going to be terrific. We'll see if Ali makes it. As I said, I have every confidence in you. I wouldn't have confidence in myself if that were my intention, but I'm going to go back to the hotel. I'll let you...
There's still an open invite.
Well, that's very kind. If Scotland were here, sadly, we haven't been for a while.
I didn't want to bring that up.
No.
I did, actually.
Well, it's been 1998 since the last time, unfortunately. Up towards Gakpo. It's poked away there by Koulibaly. That's what he does so effectively, and they're on the move again here, Senegal. See if they can find a gap in the Dutch defence. It's Ake with the header clear. Only as far as Sabali trying to work maybe the 1-2. Instead it goes back the way. There's no Paris Mendy. Neat and tidy though this from Senegal. Diallo and a good looking ball, and well, the attempt there by Diatta. Good little passage.
It certainly was, and you saw a couple good looks or opportunities at the back post. The first one was coming from this near side. They didn't opt to serve it, but that ball skips in behind the back line, and your wing back and Daley Blind just covering in and does enough to throw off the line of sight from that finish. That's one of the areas, again, that Senegal can look to try to hit.
Real battle of wits. To Mama.
Or ball security.
Yeah, as well. Paris Mendy. Pretty good on the ball just then, but nothing comes of it. De Ligt sweeping up for the Netherlands, and here's Frenkie de Jong. He often moves back into that deeper position to collect the ball. Vincent Janssen. Denzel Dumfries. Wadi Oranje. Kouyaté away, only as far as de Jong. Berghuis, and a deflection there. It's going to go spinning behind for the Dutch corner.
And just a better looking threat from the Dutch, and it started with de Jong picking up the ball up in midfield and just accelerating the tempo. That's what you're lacking a little bit from this Netherlands side, is just going up tempo against Senegal when they are in a more advanced position.
Memphis Depay is about to come on. That is a remarkable story. He scored 42 international goals, joint second on the all-time list for the Netherlands, together with Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. Now, he's been discussed inside the box here. Let's have a look. There's the answer. Diallo, by the look of things. Slight pause. Just ascertain whether he's going to be able to carry on.
Oh, knee to knee there with Dumfries. Oof.
He's on his feet. Seems to be raring to go again, but Memphis Depay, next stoppage in play, will be coming on for the Netherlands. See if he can make the difference. He's capable of being the difference maker. Here comes the corner. And Mendy to fist it away. And now it will be substitution time. This was Mendy, command of the situation. There's going to be a change for Senegal as well. This juncture, and it's interesting, Ismail Jakobs, a young player who grew up in Germany, is going to make his first World Cup appearance. We'll get to that in a second, but first the change, and it's no great shock to see Janssen go off in order that this man, Memphis Depay, can come on.
We haven't seen him since September in club and country. Last time out, he pulled his hamstring or tweaked it for the Dutch side, and we talk about Memphis Depay's ability to score, but he also is incredibly important in the way that he can highlight the others around him. Really good link-up play usually with Steven Bergwijn, and they're going to hope to have some of that creativity as they look to get the 3 points.
To complete the story on Jakobs, It didn't look as though he was going to be able to take part because of a registration snafu. Previously with Germany, as I mentioned, grew up in Germany, grew up actually in the Köln area, used to be on the books of FC Köln. Great club on the banks of the Rhine. And that has apparently been resolved. Diallo has gone off after that injury. Jacobs is very much a forward-going, forward-thinking left back.
Absolutely. Enjoy watching him, no doubt. But we've seen both fullbacks go forward for Senegal. Perhaps a little more quality in the final third, Jacobs than Diallo.
Here's Bergwijn. Depay already waiting inside the box. Been injured for a while now with Barcelona. This is no longer first choice at Barcelona. Got that dream move at the beginning of last season after Lionel Messi had left the club. Was injured for a fair chunk of that campaign too, so the cards really haven't fallen in favour of Memphis Depay since the move to Catalonia. Frenkie de Jong, one of his Barcelona teammates. Now they have to pay attention at the back. The Netherlands. Kepa Diatta.
And again, Diatta's just playing that outlet and able to just spring forward the attack for Senegal, get them in a more advanced position, and look to try to open up Netherlands in these wide channels.
Getting on the ball just then, Jacobs. Sabali with the pass. It was a bit too hot for Diatta to handle. Well, remember, it's 4 matches a day beginning tomorrow, kicking off with Argentina against Saudi Arabia, followed by Denmark, Tunisia, Mexico, Poland, France, Australia. Take your pick or watch them all. Coverage starting at 4 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Pacific on FS1 and Fox.
Yeah, what do you mean take your pick? Absolutely watch them all. Who needs work and school?
Family life. Yeah.
No, that is family life all together.
Yep. Well, I know what it's like in the Wagner household.
Trust me, you have no idea.
Over there by Koulibaly. It was Ake who got his head to it, and now Frenkie de Jong showed too much of it to Nampalys Mendy. That was a fine piece of play from him in midfield. Diatta is trying to disguise it almost, and the low shot by Dia, and he forces Noppert into urgent action, making sure he was concentrating to the maximum.
Oh, and just such a good unexpected turn. Here's the turnover. Frenkie de Jong picked his pocket, and now there's a lot of space. You can gain that green. Good run behind the back shoulder of Ake, but Van Dijk does well. You think to just cut off any angle that Boulaye Dia has on frame, but just a quick release, test that near post.
So the corner here to be taken by Kepa Diatta. No scoring between Senegal and the Netherlands. Is that situation going to change? Diatta receiving it from Sabali. Wasn't the best of passes. Hanging ball. Didn't look as though that had stayed in play. And the goal kick it'll be. So 20 minutes now into the second half, and there's the clear evidence of the ball being beyond the byline, Ali.
Yeah, we didn't need goal line technology for that one.
Nope. Nope. I can afford to trust these new contact lenses. Here is Frenkie de Jong. There's going to be another substitution coming up shortly for Senegal, but on with the game, and it's Daley Blind, and he had plenty of space. He carved out that pocket of space. Gakpo with the header on, and it falls for Dumfries. And what's the referee going to do? He's going to give the decision the way of Senegal. Free kick.
But already some intervention you're seeing from Memphis Depay. He drops in a lower position. That's the link-up play that gets Netherlands in behind. And then you see the strong challenge from Dumfries. Referee calls it a foul. Miscue, really, by Ismail Jacobs. It looks like, but the ref gets it right. Just a little nod on the backside. But a better-looking spell from the Netherlands. And early on, whether Depay is dropping low or just to link up play, or him and Bergwijn spreading out those center backs, it's creating some channels in the interior instead of in the half space for Cody Gakpo just to find and thread through. Something to keep an eye on as we progress.
Bamba Dieng is going to be the player coming on for Senegal. Next opportunity. Could it be we're watching the best two sides in this group? Ecuador might make an argument about it based on their win over Qatar. Time will tell. Well, Ecuador play the Netherlands in the next set of matches. Senegal against Qatar. And Mendy watches all the way as that trickles through. Blank score sheet midway through the second half. And the change here, and yeah, we suspected that it would be Boulaye, one striker going off in order that another one can come on. Seconds after this from Dia.
That's his last intervention, it looks like. Really strong test on Melpert. Again, just an unpredicted quick swivel over the hips to try to just test that near post. And it wasn't his night in the end.
So the Marseille striker will come on in his place. Bamba Dieng has been out of favour at the club. Looked as though he was going to join Nice in France, but failed a medical. Important member of this squad. They are a little bit thin in terms of quality in the centre-forward position. That's the general feeling amongst those who follow Senegal on a regular basis. It's Kouyaté who's down here. And there's going to be a little break in the action, Ali.
Yeah, I didn't see exactly what happened to Kouyaté. Ball's in the air. Frankie de Jong doesn't have eyes on the ball. Instead, he's got eyes on Kouyaté.
Well, that gives us a chance to take stock of what we've been seeing. Any discernible change to the pattern in this half?
When you look at what Senegal's been able to threaten with, it's been limited. I think in the first half, they were more dangerous, saw more of the ball, and they look more threatening in transition. I think Netherlands have been able to control this game more so, this half, excuse me, more so in possession, and that's what you typically would have thought coming into this match initially. But I do think both sides look like they possibly can get the goal to the other through just careless play out of the bag.
Well, the stretcher is being brought on. That's what happened to Kouyaté. Yep.
You take that one.
Yep. Sometimes pictures tell 1,000 words. Flat on his back, Cheikhou Kouyaté. Chance for some of the other Senegalese players
and
to enjoy a bit of liquid refreshment.
But back to your point, if this game ends 0-0 and then you go to that second and third game to see who advances, the reality is, you know, Mendes of Ecuador, Caicedo of Ecuador, both on yellow cards. I mean, the likelihood of one of them picking up a second yellow is very high, in which case they'd sit out that third game, and that could benefit this Senegal team if, in fact, results stay toe for toe as we go through this group stage.
Looks as though it's the end of the line for Kouyaté. They do have a substitute ready in Pape Gueye. Another Marseille player, left-footed. Used to be on the books of Watford, but actually didn't make a single appearance. And Hertfordshire left immediately. There they are, the Senegalese fans. A lot to be encouraged about when you think about the context of this group and how it all might stack up, but that's a sad sight, isn't it, Kouyaté?
No clue how this ends for Kouyaté, except that, as you said, his day is done today, and the reality is, as a player, this is what you dream of. And we've seen a couple players go off injured in the opening match. It just comes an emotional experience when you would never wish upon your worst enemy.
That little moment there tells you a lot about teamwork, doesn't it? Many a player would be concentrating on himself, but Pape Gueye immediately wanted to have a word with Cheikhou Kouyaté, make sure he's okay. offer some words of encouragement. He's about to come on for Senegal. So a lengthy stoppage there. We're inside the final 20 minutes. It's been tight, it has been tactical, there have been chances in the match.
And you think more have to be coming for Netherlands with Depay on.
So Dumfries, there's Bergwijn, Dumfries cutting in. Down he goes, but he's going to carry on. See if they can stretch the Netherlands here. Ismail Assar, he's been quiet in the second half. And intelligent ball, there's Idrissa Gueye! And Nopper put to work. Once more for the Netherlands. Well, the offside flag has gone up. Well, that was an opportunity.
It certainly was, and a really good strike here. Like on again, you see three players just converging on him, and it's a quick release. The ball sits up nicely for him, and it just goes through traffic. Noper sees it late, more than likely, but good reaction save. And the big man comes up with the goods.
Substitution now. We already have had one with Pat Gay having come on. Nicolas Jackson is on too for Senegal. Here's Matthijs de Ligt. There's 5 substitutions allowed nowadays. Okay, so nobody in particular. Does change the dynamic of a game having 5 substitutions. Some will say not necessarily for the better.
Yeah, it breaks up the rhythm, absolutely. But I think with the congestion of fixtures that you have nowadays, I do appreciate that you can have more rotation in squads.
Diatta, the other player to have gone off, in his case not because of any injury that had occurred. The Netherlands earlier bringing on Memphis Depay, and there he is. Ball moving towards him, but didn't make the leap on that occasion. Sabali just dragged it too far forward for his own good, with Frenkie de Jong dropping all the way back as the covering player. Well, this was the worry amongst some of my Dutch journalist friends. They did feel that there was a lack of a cutting edge. The defence would be solid for the Netherlands, this back three. But again, where are the goals coming from in this competition? Still plenty of time, still early days, but they have some defending to do here. De Ligt and company. Ismail Assar, and the shot does come in here. Well, it was there for Dieng.
And again, just coming down that left-hand side with Ismail Assar. That one just a bit too far behind Dieng Bamba. Makes it difficult to get around it, keep it down.
It was a bit careless by Koulibaly and Bergwijn. And desperate defending, but very good defending. You've got to say, when all was said and done by Jacobs.
And I would argue that this Netherlands side has plenty of ways to find the back of the net. And we've seen when they've been free-flowing and there has been that counter movement out of midfield, they've looked incredibly dangerous. They've also looked dangerous in situations like that, where they're on the break, where they're attacking, and they're being incisive vertically quickly. You could argue they just haven't had that finishing touch today.
Just getting a bit of a talking to here. Bergwijn, Gakpo to take the latest corner.
And Ake is going to be the free runner again.
Over it comes from Cody Gakpo. Trying to keep it going. Ake was there, attempting to get his head to the ball. De Ligt by his side. And let's slice open this resolute Senegalese defence. Daley Blind, good looking ball towards Dumfries, but he was overzealous. Yeah, felt by Jacobs.
And it looked awkward from Jakobs. Just pushed in the back again. Dumfries a few times now, late to the ball, late to the challenge. Well, here's the previous one from Senegal. The ball back to Gana Gueye. Ended up being offside, but a really clean strike from him. And that's a good moment for Noppert. Only tested at that near post once, really, and that's a second save for him. He's going to feel good about that. That's going to build his confidence in his international debut on the world stage.
So 0-0 the score. And the Netherlands about to make a couple of personnel changes. Davy Klaassen will be one of the men to come on. In turn, Koopmeiners will be the other. Time really is of the essence here. A draw is never the end of the World Cup. For any side, can often be actually beneficial to ease your way into a tournament. Many a coach has spoken about that.
Time and tempo. And you're also buying your team time with Depay recovering and getting more minutes under his belt. But I do think Netherlands can go up tempo and really try to force mistakes out of this back line of Senegal in this midfield that has been so resolute and tracking those vertical runs, closing off some of those internal channels.
Off has gone Bergwijn, off has gone Berghuis with Klaassen and Koopmeiners on for the Netherlands.
More creativity a little bit and less loyal players per Van Gaal.
Davy Klaassen has been struggling a bit for form at Ajax. Vastly experienced central midfield player. Koopmeiners was an effective passer of the ball. Comes off Frenkie de Jong. Well, Louis van Gaal did say at the press conference, you and I were there, Ali, that he feels under certain circumstances that Netherlands could win the World Cup. He wasn't making the case for them to be amongst the top 3 or 4 countries here, but he said, I feel that we are in the conversation if the chips fall the right way.
Yeah, he said more talent than the 2014 squad, and this is a group that buys into the principles of play that he wants to see. And that was key to that squad to go get into that third place game. And maybe they're just going to be a slow burn. There's been worse things. Remember France 4 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. A reminder about the return of World Cup tonight. All the day's highlights, special guests and World Cup fun with Kate Abdo, Mo Edu, and America's World Cup fan Chad Ochocinco, who gets to go to the games, including the USA against Wales, coming up after this to give us the fan experience tonight at midnight on Fox.
I'm still wondering how he got the gig just to get to go to games.
Yeah. Is that the gig you want next time?
No doubt.
I hope you're not sick of your commentary partner already.
That was the sole reason.
10 minutes to go. Senegal and the Netherlands locked together at 0-0. The last 8 World Cup openers. The Netherlands have recorded 6 wins and 2 draws. No defeats. They've won their last 3 at this stage of the competition. Senegal, remember, shocked France right at the outset. 2002, put one over Poland at the last World Cup. Wasn't enough in the end to get them out of the group. Draw something they might have settled for before a ball was kicked in anger as Idrissa Gueye feeds it out left. They do look for Ismaila Sarr to turn on the style. Idrissa Gana Gueye. Here's Sabali for Senegal. They've got their resources marshalled here, the Netherlands. Tightly packed penalty area. Oh, the substitutes getting on the ball there. Pat Gueye. Now, Jakobs with that deep ball in there. It wasn't a bad idea. They're asking the question. Inside the penalty area. The referee saw no transgression.
It's a good ball into the box. Ake tied to his player. Not a lot in that. That's the right thing to do if you're Ake. Just throw him off. But one thing I noticed, Derek, in that last play when Van Dijk gave the ball away and here comes Senegal in the counterattack, instead of just watching the ball, Van Dijk is running back, recovering, but he's looking behind his shoulder and he's organizing everyone behind him to pick up the runners at the far post. He's getting everyone into position to deal with any ball that might be floated into a dangerous area, and that's one of the things you don't see when you're not here in person. And we heard Van Gaal talk about he's coached incredible leaders.
There's Ake, that quick first-time ball. Saw what they were trying there, asking for a possible free kick, but not given. Down is Abu Cisse.
Back to my point, Van Gaal has coached incredible captains, incredible leaders. But he said Van Dijk is special.
Yeah. Yeah, very special captain. Greatly appreciated by Louis van Gaal. That was Cup miners who managed to get deep into Senegalese territory. Looked to work it swiftly from the back. Dumfries, leading in terms of forced turnovers, one of the statistical categories you'll be hearing about throughout the course of this World Cup. Well, 0-0. If it were to finish 0-0, it wouldn't be a terrible outcome for either side, would it?
No, I don't think so, especially when you consider that both have the ability to go and pick up points in their next two matches. We talked about both of these squads being the top two teams in the group, even without Mane.
Oh, now they've stepped up here at Senegal. Will there be a price to pay? Gakpo. He's looking over his shoulder. Klaassen had joined Memphis Depay inside the box, and it falls kindly here for Memphis Depay, and we know that he has skill in his repertoire. Well, they got away with that a little bit, Senegal. One of the few times when they have gone for that higher line. Frenkie de Jong, and there is the moment for the Netherlands. Cody Gakpo. The Dutch breakthrough at last in the closing phase of this match. A mixture of joy and relief for the men in orange. Cody Gakpo gets on the end of it, and will that be enough to see the Netherlands through to victory in their first match here at the World Cup?
And it had to be Cody Gakpo coming in. This was the kid that we all knew to keep our eyes on. Incredible season at PSV Eindhoven. And he's had bright movement out of midfield. Some surging runs. The timing of his run is incredibly important. There he is. Just glides in front of the last line and then cuts in and darts to get on the end of this one. For De Jong, it looked like the timing might have been off, but he cuts it close enough and arrives just before Mendy, who comes out for that teasing ball. To see that one find its way in the back of the net. What a finish. You talk about getting your body right in air and understanding where that ball has to be redirected in. That is a difficult skill to pull off at full speed.
A goal from the rising star of Dutch football, Cody Gakpo, after Frenkie de Jong had played it in. A delightful ball it was. Just seconds after we said it, Senegal as a unit had stepped forward, got themselves into a bit of a pickle. Thought that they maybe succeed in clearing the danger. Now they've got to get themselves onto the front foot. A time of real consideration here at Al Tumama, just to the south of the Doha city centre.
And right after, you were talking about how a tie could suit both of these teams, and it wouldn't be the worst thing.
Change of emphasis and thought process, and that wasn't bad at all by Pat Gay. And Noppert, not for the first time, has to make an important stop.
And it's an incredible one, because this is a tall goalkeeper to get down that low, that quick, back against your momentum. You can see he shifts just enough to his right and then has to get to the ground low in that near post. Big save.
Action stations here for Senegal. The equation has been altered, and quite profoundly. On Paris Mendy sending it in. Cisse quickly out to that left-hand side. And it comes off Ake. Will be a corner. Corner to Senegal. And Pat Gay tasked with taking it. A bit of a heartbreaker for Senegal. This one to hold up. A variation on the usual theme. It was hit a bit vigorously, wasn't it? Jacobs had to double D-clutch. And that's going to be Noppert's ball, and he's happy to fall down while grabbing it. Waste a few more seconds.
Here's a look at the quick release. And then just the big save from the big man. Arm stretched out, one hand to it, just deflects that wide of the near post. I mean, you tell your players when you see a goalkeeper of that frame and that size, you want to shoot low. Well, he had it covered.
There's Memphis Depay trying to play his way through the Senegalese defence. Bailey Blin pass into the centre for the Oranje. Come away with it once more. Blin. Memphis Depay. Back to Frenkie de Jong, the architect of the Gakpo goal. Get a little circle. In a stadium that's based on a circular roof pattern. Cisse and Senegal put so much into this game. Managed to keep the Dutch at bay until that goal by Gakpo. And we should remind you, the USA against Wales coming up, opening World Cup match for the US and Wales. We'll see it on Fox, coverage beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Louis van Gaal looking on from the bench. There's Edgar Davids there, one of his assistants. A terrific all-around midfield player he was.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. He used to play for Van Gaal, that great Ajax team of the 1990s initially. Here's Blind. The Dutch trying to see this out now. Senegal will doubtless have their own views on that subject. This went spinning off the boot of Pat Gay, who fired in that ferocious shot earlier, brought the best out of Andries Noppert, and I don't think you can really ask too many questions about Noppert and that decision, because he's been superb in goal when called upon.
Spot on. And he hasn't been called upon much as we've talked about the threat of Senegal coming forward in transition, the way that they've been able to construct some things in those wide areas, specifically from Ismail Sarr. Really only a few big saves and Noppert's had to make, but that's the difference. And you were looking up the last time you had a goalie make their debut in the opening game in a World Cup.
Yeah, it seriously questions whether or not it had happened before, but it did happen with Russia at the last World Cup, but certainly for the Netherlands, new territory. We're going to have a minimum of 8 added minutes.
Feels excessive.
When you think about the stoppage for Kouyaté, think about all the substitutions, think about the goal. I was talking to Mark Clattenburg about that. Yeah. You don't think 8 is justified, no?
No.
Fair play. Well, but Mark Clattenburg.
But Senegal will be happy.
Yeah, Mark and I were talking about that, just leaving the referee's briefing, and it's something we probably will see a lot of. We were almost forewarned that we're going to see that, especially with VAR interventions. Not that has been part of the story in this one. Yeah.
That's why you were the A student. You
No,
went to the briefing.
Always go to the referee's briefing. It's the one briefing you do want to attend if you can. Always learn something. And Senegal in pursuit of an equaliser. Dieng is away by Dumfries, and that was always rising off the boot of Jacobs.
We said he was a forward-thinking player, and why not have a go? Just slices across that one, gets it wrong.
Well, I know his former teammates at Köln are all behind him. Köln, who actually were in the USA at the weekend, playing Stuttgart in Austin, Texas, in a friendly. I think people who know me know that I do try to make Köln references whenever possible. So there's the obligatory current reference, but as I say, they have been in Texas, and fantastic club, FC. Ismail Jakobs used to play for them. Gakpo contributing in more ways than one, Ali.
Spot on. And just his grace and ability to eliminate players, well, lines as well with that. Just glides right by defenders. Because I don't think his line breaks have necessarily been with passes.
We saw those games flash up on our screen seconds ago. Netherlands against Ecuador, Qatar against Senegal. You and I will be commentating on the Netherlands against Ecuador. Have you seen anything now, having watched both sides, anything from Ecuador that should trouble the Dutch?
Absolutely. I mean, they get big shape. They play some of their really dynamic wingers, and Gonzalo Plata. They've got, you know, the double pivots and Mendes and Caicedo that can really control things in the center. And if you give them a sniff, if you're a little bit lazy on the ball, like we've seen out of De Jong a few times, Van Dijk once, they can punish you. Valencia, you saw it. There's a reason he's their leading goal scorer and potent.
Sabali, and useful looking ball, but not the header, not really going to plan. Dieng pointing inside the penalty area for Senegal.
Good shape on that service coming in, and Ifan Bamba Dieng just sitting between two backs, and Dumfries and the other center back. De Ligt, the good space to land that ball in. He just gets the connection wrong.
Martin de Roon is going to be coming on for the Netherlands, defensive midfield player. There's the goal that separates these two. Frenkie de Jong, an exquisite ball, and headed home by Cody Gakpo.
It really is, and you say it takes something special. It takes that creativity. Well, it came from both those players. The recognition that space was on him behind the back line by Gakpo, and then the delivery. Just feathering that one in over the top, teasing the goalkeeper off his line.
He has departed now, Gakpo, in order that de Roon can come on. He's not a glamorous sort of player, de Roon. There is a yellow card. Flashed in the direction of Paris Mendy. Looking a bit quizzical there at the Brazilian referee. Senegal are going to have to go and play Qatar now. They'll fancy their chances, I think, based on what we saw last night. I suppose there are those who'll say Qatar can't possibly be as bad as they were. That's the challenge from Mendy, why he got booked, Ali.
Didn't just high boot, actually, from both of them, and I can see why he had an argument.
Just trying to manage the game here, you sense, don't you, the Netherlands? Already 4 minutes into added time. And if they do win, it's going to go down as a hard-earned, hard-fought victory. Virgil van Dijk from the back with that raking free kick. Koopmeiners. Well, that is the end of that for now, as far as the Netherlands are concerned. They want to get on with it quickly here, Senegal. And even if it does end in defeat, at least they've kept the damage down, because goal difference can be so crucial in the context of these groups.
But I think they're going to feel like they let one get away.
Yeah.
This was a game they could have picked up 1 point and gone into that second.
Well, there is another booking, and Idrissa Gueye this time. He's not really having it, is he?
No, and again, we talk about if you pick up 2 yellow cards in the group stage, you have to sit a game. Well, Idrissa Gueye is one of the important players, the engine room in that midfield for Senegal. They can't afford to lose him, and you see just the elbow as Gueye's riding up. Catching Clausen before the ball arrives.
Well, the Netherlands on the cusp. Cody Gakpo.
Well, those are the young stars, right? Xavi Simons sitting on the bench, and Gakpo, the other one, playing provider for Netherlands and getting them on the front foot in this tournament.
Danny Blind there punching the air in delight. One of the assistants, all the Dutch fans rising to celebrate the goal.
That's a moment.
Yeah, from Gakpo. And Virgil van Dijk. Quite a few stoppages in stoppage time, so this is likely going to go quite a bit beyond the 8 minutes, you would think. going to put you on the spot, Ali Wagner. Are we looking here in this game at the, from your point of view, the best two teams in the group?
I think ultimately it could be Netherlands and Ecuador that advance, but that's largely contingent upon Caicedo and Mendes, Caicedo specifically, but also Mendes being available for that third game.
Well, the Netherlands against Ecuador will certainly tell us a lot. Netherlands face Qatar in the final match of the group for both countries. The Dutch will hope that it's pretty close to job done by then, and maybe a chance to rest a few, but that's all dependent upon what happens against Ecuador. They did win a lot of friends with their performance last night. Pass there by Cisse wasn't the best. Denzel Dumfries just going right into the back of Jacobs.
And to be fair, I mean, of course, Senegal is a team that can advance out of the group. So we'll couch it a bit with that. But this Ecuador team, I mean, we saw it in Copa America. They're talented. They're young. They're hungry. They're organized. They've got role players. You talk about a platform for which to build your creativity upon. They have that.
Well, orange zest in this game, not so much. They have been dogged in that moment by Gakpo earlier, and here's Memphis Depay, and pushed down, and Klaasen's there, and that will be the clincher. Davy Klaasen to make it 2 for the Netherlands. Well, this second half enriched by a distinct orange flavour, and Senegal unable to prevent it. And that will be that, a win for the Netherlands to begin the World Cup campaign.
And we thought maybe the 8 minutes was going to benefit Senegal. Well, now they're ruining them because they're in a goal differential situation potentially, and you don't go to goal in the dying moments of a game when you're up 1-0 unless it's a layup. And Depay thought it was. He took his man 1v1, had to go, got the deflection of Mendy right into the path of the surging run, the selfless run of Davy Klaasen, just going in tandem. And he gets the reward and puts this one away and has Netherlands flying. What a second half for them. And perhaps a cruel score line for Senegal.
Davy Klaasen not starting this match. I think that was to be expected based on what's been going on for him at Ajax. That's the second goal courtesy of him. Time of the goal, 98 minutes, 8 minutes into added time. A bit difficult for the African champions to digest, given the level of their commitment, of their performance. They're going to have to do it now against Qatar in their second match. There it is. Aliou Cisse and company have lost against the Netherlands. The goals by Gakpo, and then right at the end from Klaasen. 2-0 to the Netherlands. Let's send it back to Kate Abdo. Kate.
The 2022 FIFA World Cup Today on Fox is presented by Google Pixel. We have got one more match left to go today. The United States is set to kick off its campaign right here on Fox. The Americans take on Wales. The US has never advanced from a World Cup group. When they lost their opener, win would certainly boost their chances of moving on. Our pre-game is coming up for you.
Good